break the mold here and go a little old school with the cards and the stand. Hold on for a second. There we go. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Mishkind. I work at Omgivning. We're an architecture firm downtown. We do adaptive reuse primarily. And as you can see, we believe in density, we believe in community, and we believe in adaptive reuse and of existing buildings and infrastructure to build, to bring these buildings into the future and see what the city needs. And we really do believe that the greenest building should be an existing building. But there are a lot of challenges with that. So what you can see really is that we're downtown specialists. We have a very unique perspective. Most of our work is really downtown, which is incredible because that means that sometimes we can operate on an urban scale. Sometimes we have up to 5 projects on one city block. That's really atypical for an architecture firm. We work, all of us, from the detail, interior, from the smallest perspective, from TIs and bars and restaurants and such. And that allows us to tell the stories of local business owners, but we also scale it up and are able to work in larger projects such as Broadway Trade, which is about half a city block. So it varies from interiors, actually just restoration of these buildings, to full out build outs. And then I think I'm a little ahead of the cards here. But so one of the ways that we actually bring light into the buildings, and one of the strategies that we use, is to create new light courts or adapt existing light courts to repurpose them for newer uses such as residential. So Sears is a really great example of that. We have created up to 9 new light courts in there, so we can accommodate, which you can kind of see over here, up to 1,100 new residential units. In Broadway Trade, we're creating 3 new light courts, and that really connects basically the large urban market on the ground floor all the way up through to the new public roof deck. You can see the original, existing historic uses on the roof deck there. So another thing that we like to do is take a look at underutilized spaces. That's alleyways. So if we have the opportunity to work on, in these cases, 2 different buildings on one block, we can use alleys that could potentially connect these buildings in a more pedestrian way. Facades and facade restoration. One of the things we're really interested in is really the democratization of these buildings and this neighborhoods environment. So what we do is we do a lot with public policy. We deal with practical applications of these policies, such as the ARO, which is the Adaptive Reuse Ordinance, Bringing Back Broadway Sign District Ordinance, and a bunch of other different ones that we're currently working on in order to make these buildings easier to adapt. You can see here a couple other ones where we're working on roof decks. Roof decks are really underutilized spaces that we love, and I think most building owners now know the advantage of having these. And these, hopefully, sometimes are tenant amenity spaces, but they really, hopefully, in my humble opinion, hopefully operate more as POPs, more as privately owned public parks, and operated parks. And I think that's what you can see here on the left or on the right with Broadway Trade. And these are 2 of the larger ones that really operate on the urban scale. This is Boyle Heights, Sears building, and the Broadway Trade on the other side. And I think one of the main things that we're trying to do with these buildings really is to bring them to have a new purpose, basically, but also bring them into the future, such as all these historic theaters, so that everybody can enjoy them. And that's our purpose. Thank you.